All right. Thank you so much for joining us today for a special career event with the National Consortium for Data Science, aka NCDS. My name is Amanda Miller, and I'm the Associate Director for the NCDS. Before we begin, I just want to share a few housekeeping items with you. We have disabled our Zoom Q&A for attendees. Chat is also disabled to allow Becky to present without distractions, but never fear, we do offer a place for you to share your comments and questions. We are asking that you upload those comments and questions to our Easy Retro, which is our crowdsourcing Q&A platform. We're going to go ahead and share the link so you can add those questions in the Zoom chat now. The form has been pre-populated with the questions that some of you submitted during the registration process for this event. And you are welcome to add your questions throughout Becky's presentation. We will be sharing instructions and the link once again before our Q&A portion begins. But folks, today I am honored to have the great Becky Brown hosting this special career event for NCDS, Rock Your LinkedIn Profile. This event is a great complement to our biannual Spring Career Panel that takes place just 1 week from today on Wednesday, February 5th from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. So I was going to give a beautiful and kind and glowing introduction for Becky, but she has all of that covered in her materials. So Becky, thank you once again for being here. I'm super excited for you to share your knowledge with our audience, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Excited to be here. It was a difficult day. It was March 23rd, 2023. However, it was a gorgeous day, and I was working remotely at the beach. After a long walk on the beach with my dog, I brushed the sand off my feet, came in the house, grabbed my coffee, and sat down to start my workday. Scanning email, I noticed an email that jumped out at me. It was a meeting request from my director, and the subject was just one-on-one. Now, I don't meet with my director that often, so I was surprised and actually got excited. The optimist in me thought, oh, this is great. It's the opportunity for a new project. And I've been asking for special things to do to grow my skills. So I was actually thinking positively about this meeting. It was set for 2 p.m. later that day. So as time rolled around and it was 2 o'clock, I signed in to my virtual call, and there was my director, John. And then another person showed up, and I didn't quite know who that was. And it was someone from HR. My heart sunk. I was shocked to hear that my job was being eliminated. I wasn't prepared for that. Or so I thought. I had been investing intentionally for several years prior to that day in 2023. COVID occurred, and I sort of leaned into how do I bring more of my full self to my role? So I had been doing a lot of professional development, networking, using LinkedIn at a time when we couldn't really meet in person. It was a great online tool. So I was really growing my network. So I was able to reach out immediately to about a dozen people, tell them what had happened, and ask them for some guidance. Do you know about any roles that are open? The next day, I applied for 5 roles, and within 30 days, I had a job. What was a very difficult day turned into an awesome experience and putting me in a role that was more aligned with my skills and strengths. I want to share with you some of the lessons I've learned and experiences that I've built in my role for the last 2 years as a global social selling program manager at SAS. Now, I share a bit about more of who I am outside of work. I've been at SAS for over 3 decades. I've had 10 different roles in sales and marketing and had tremendous opportunities to share what I've learned in those roles with other people through mentoring, career coaching, and other roles at SAS and in the community. And I share this personal human part of me because it is so important as you're building your personal brand. And now I'd like to talk about 3 things today: defining your brand online, building your LinkedIn profile, and growing your network using LinkedIn effectively. Now, we think about brand, sometimes we think about Apple or Nike company brands, but we all have a brand. It's really our reputation. We may not think of it as a brand, but we do have one. It's what precedes us when we walk into a room, how people know us, what do they know about us? And it's really a blend of your story, your authentic story as a person, as a professional, and the company messages based on the company that you currently work for. It's a blend of these things. And let's dive into a little bit of reflection on how to understand what your authentic story is. Think about, why do you like the work that you do? What experiences have shaped your perspective? What is your special sauce, as we say in the US often? What makes you unique? If there's someone with your job title of data scientist and and you have that same job title, I guarantee you what you do and what you bring to that role is very different than that other person. So think about, what is it that makes you unique? Maybe it's your volunteer work or the papers that you've written and authored. Think about that. Another question you can ask yourself is, what do people appreciate about you? More specifically, what are 3 adjectives that describe your approach to work? Answering these questions can really help inform who you are authentically, what your story is, to begin sharing and defining your brand. Because your brand is yours to own, and LinkedIn provides you with tremendous visibility online. So when you add your reputation to the visibility of an online tool like LinkedIn, you have your brand. Now, we're going to dive in to the tactics of building your LinkedIn profile. It is a foundational tool today. Now, 20 years ago when LinkedIn came out in 2003, it really was a job board. It was a place people went to look for jobs. It has evolved into something way bigger than that. There are 1 billion people on LinkedIn today. It is the place that business to business, or B2B, as we call it in our market, go to learn and research and make connections for buying decisions and growing their network. It is foundational that you have a LinkedIn profile and that is representative of who you are today and not who you were 3 or 4 years ago. So we're going to talk about specific ways you can do that, because some of you said that attracting recruiters is really important to you right now in your journey, your next career step. And the way to do that is to have a robust LinkedIn profile. Because I know recruiters are looking at the LinkedIn profile sometimes even before they look at your resume. So your resume may be your, here's what I did and when I did it, but your profile is really more about who you are, why you do the work that you do. So let's talk about that a little more. There's really 4 foundational pieces that you need to have on your profile. If you get those 4 right, they sort of hold up the rest of your profile, kind of like the foundation of a house. There's the images, there's the headline, there's the about section, and then there's the experience section. We're going to talk about each one of those. Images. You only get 2 on your profile because LinkedIn is really has a lot more opportunity for text. So make sure you get those right. There's your headshot, which should be a nice framed picture showing a little bit of your, collarbone, shoulders, a little bit of clothing. It should be polished. You should be approachable in the picture, and then it should be consistent with the rest of the content on your profile. It doesn't have to be professionally done, but we all carry our phones with us in our pockets. That's a great tool to use to get a nice quality headshot. The second image is the banner, which shows across the top of your profile. It's right behind your headshot. That's your opportunity. That's your first impression. Think of it as your billboard. It's where you want people to immediately make a connection. So if you're working at a company right now, you might use a branded company banner, and that's great. If you work in a specific industry, you could use an image from that industry. If you work in banking, it could be an image of a bank lobby. Or in science, you could have some type of a lab or a picture. So think about that as making sure you get images on your profile. The headline is the second most important pillar on your profile. It's what shows up right under your name. And it's an opportunity for this thing we call search engine optimization for the human mind. It is actually, when people are searching, going to scan your headline to look for keywords. If you're actively looking for a new job, you want to make sure that if you're in data science, that's somewhere in your headline. I've got a couple of examples here. We have this sort of this flow. We think about it's working with these kinds of people to accomplish this. So you might consider that as you're drafting and writing your headline. Now, LinkedIn's default is your job title, and that's okay, but it really doesn't tell somebody what I do, because my job title is program manager, and that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people and at different companies. So consider that as you're drafting your headline. Try not to make it too long. It's like a newspaper headline where you're really trying to grab the attention of the visitor to your page. Because remember, people who come to your LinkedIn profile don't know you. They usually haven't met you, or maybe they met you, but they don't know anything about you. So it's important that you're letting them know quickly if this is a place they should be. Are they in the right spot when they're looking for data scientists, for example, to help them with a project or for a role they might have if they're a recruiter? Your about section is this place that's an empty canvas, so it can be a little intimidating. It's like 2,000 characters. You can write whatever you want. And we've got a nice little framework that we use, which is, think of it as your elevator pitch. When you go to a conference, for example, and you sit down at that round lunch table and you've got your food and you start talking and someone says, "Oh, hi, Becky, tell me what you do." It's my response to that is what I would put in the about section. This is a snippet of mine. I coach and train sales leaders and professionals. You want to write this in first person. And a good flow is just say in 1 or 2 sentences what you do, what makes you unique, what makes you human, because we want to make a connection on the human level, and then add a brief call to action at the bottom. You see mine is connect with me if you'd like to talk about LinkedIn, personal branding, mentorship, or networking. And there's that personal part of what I do, which is Sea Turtle Patrol protection at the coast. Connecting on a human level is important. Some people ask that question often as we're coaching and training them. Well, do I really need to put something personal? Just think about when you go to an event or a meeting, you don't talk about business the whole time. You do share something about your life. You might talk about your hobby, you play soccer, or you're a coach for your kids' football team, whatever that is. Maybe there's an association you're a part of. That human element can make an instant connection with someone that makes those business conversations go a lot more smoothly. Your experience section. This is kind of where people think they just take their resume and plop it in. But we invite you to consider a slightly different approach, which is this is the place for you to articulate what you do in your current role and then what you did in prior roles in like 1 or 2, maybe 3 sentences, not a whole bunch of bullets about accomplishments, more of telling your professional story and how you've developed your skills through the roles that you've had. Now, those are the 4 pillars. Now that you've got those, you can add a little more flavor or nuance. You can add your industry, which is found in the settings of your LinkedIn profile. You want to make sure that you select the industry that you work in, not the industry that you sell into or something like that. It is proven that when you've got industry on there, you will receive more views on your profile. And people do search by industry quite often. You can feature your work in a section that's called featured. And this is a great place to add more pictures, videos, articles, things that might have an image and allow you to share, some of the work that you've done, maybe a paper that you've authored. So that's a great add to your profile. There's also volunteering. This is a great place to add that volunteer work that you do regularly with the Red Cross, or for me with Dress for Success, or with an ERG, employee resource group that you might be working at your organization. And then skills. And when you're in a bit more of a technical role, this can be real important to list all of the skills that you have acquired over your short, medium, long career. Skills that you consider to be the most valuable, you want to put at the top. And these are skills, capabilities, solutions, tools, the industry. This is a search word bank for when people are searching. So make sure you've got all 50 skills listed there because that's your maximum. And then you can reorder them and make sure that the 2 most important are the ones that show on your first page of your profile. Recommendations. Several of you asked questions in the prior to this session about what do I need to do to get my profile more visible to recruiters as I'm job searching. Getting recommendations is an excellent way to do that. It's an opportunity for someone else to talk about their work with you on a project or in a specific program or on a paper that you authored. It's a place for them to say, this person is excellent because of this. Here are the strengths that I see they have. It's one thing for me to say in my about section, oh, I do this and I bring all these great skills, but it's a whole different level when someone else is saying those things about you. Having 2 recommendations on your profile is ideal, and you could reach out to people through LinkedIn. It prompts you and makes that process fairly easy for you. Think of it as a statement of credibility, not a job recommendation. It's verifying your credibility. So that's the LinkedIn profile. Once you get those 4 pillars and add whatever additional nuance you want, you will have a more robust profile to attract the people that you want to have conversations, to grow your network. And you'll begin building your brand and informing it the way you want people to see you. So let's talk a bit about networking. Networking is building a web of relationships with others for mutual support in finding business solutions and opportunities. It is relational, not transactional. It's not about how many people can I connect with. It's how do I connect with people that I want to learn from and that I might be able to help. And somewhere down the road, they might be able to help me. Because networking is solving a problem that you're going to have in the future that you don't know about yet. Job eliminations do happen regularly, and it's okay. and we can bounce back from those. And having a network that you have been cultivating with intention, that you have been meeting people, having coffees, staying in touch, giving and helping others will build a network that you want to have. So, who's in your network? Where are places that you're meeting people? Because we don't have this online network and an offline network, we just have one. So, think about the places where you are currently meeting people and could add them into your LinkedIn network. Conferences, going into the office, employee resource groups, virtual team meetings, volunteering, social gatherings, neighborhood gatherings, church events. So, investing in your connections up front ensures that you are staying ready before you have to get ready. I love this quote from Dale Carnegie about as you're thinking of networking events and just conversations you're having with people, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. And that's simply be interested in other people genuinely and try not to take the stage and talk just about yourself when you're meeting someone at an event for the first time or in general. There is a great social researcher, Mark Granovetter, who wrote a paper on the strength of weak ties. And the concept is that weak ties have more value and the greater capacity to help us get jobs than strong ties do. And weak ties are those people that we might see once a year or twice a year at, you know, the holidays and in the summer at the neighborhood barbecue. So consider that connections that you make on LinkedIn or at neighborhood or work events, that it doesn't have to be a relationship you build and focus on meeting that person every single month. Weak ties have tremendous strength. So it's not about what you know, and it's not about who you know, it's about who knows what you know. And how do you begin to let others know what you know? So think about social engagement as this force multiplier. It's like a ripple effect. When you, for example, make a comment on a post on LinkedIn to something that you read that was insightful and got you thinking, the person you make that comment to is the author of that post, right? But all the other people in your network are going to see what you wrote. So there's visibility way beyond just that direct comment and interaction. I know that some of you were curious about how do I engage on LinkedIn? How do I start being more active? And there's really 3 ways to think about engagement. That is listening, engaging, and then sharing. Now, listening is literally reading the news feed on your LinkedIn, on your phone or on your desktop. The news feed is what displays in the middle of the screen on, all the people in your network, that what they're talking about, what they're posting about. Engaging is when you do a couple of things. You can like a post or drop a comment. It's a way for you to have interactions and begin building a relationship with other people. And then sharing is kind of the next level. It's actually writing content and post that you share in your network. And I've just got a snippet from it. It's just here do I go. I start writing a post, put in what I think is good content, maybe a photo, maybe a little bit of text. And that's your opportunity to share from your experiences and your insights with your network. So there's 4 kind of key engagement levers when you're thinking about engagement on LinkedIn. There's the like button, which is very simple, very easy. You just hit that. It lets the author of that post know you read it and you thought it was interesting. It's fast and it's easy. Commenting is what stands out. It creates this top of mind impression. It's having a conversation online with another person. It does take a little more time, however, so a lot of people don't use it. Sending is like the modern day version of article clipping, where we used to take a newspaper article and ship it to somebody. It reinforces or starts a conversation with a person one-on-one. You would send it and it would go as a direct message to that person. And then the fourth is reposting an article, where you've seen something somebody wrote and you think this was insightful and you want to share it with your network, and you can repost it, add some things that you think are important or that you want to highlight, and then it creates this big relationship boost with the original author of that post. The real gold nugget is commenting. It is not something people think about doing enough. So if someone says to me, how do I get more engagement? How do I get more connections? How do I get more visibility on LinkedIn? Commenting is going to be the number one thing that I recommend. Make sure you are engaging, even set a goal. I mean, I have a goal of commenting 5 times a day. Just when I'm reading my newsfeed, something is of value, I drop a quick comment. And it doesn't have to be long, but it does take a little time. But it is gold. So now I think we have time for questions. We're at 12:30. I'm going to pull up the retro board.
This has been great, Becky. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, just so you all know, this amazing audience, check out this Easy Retro board that we've got here. Becky has quite a few questions to get through. I do just want to make sure that all of you understand how to use the Easy Retro board. My colleague has dropped a link into the chat. So if you are interested in adding a question, just click on that plus sign at the top of the column and go ahead and start typing your question or comment. You can also upvote other questions that have been asked. So before you type something, do just make sure you make a quick scan of the questions up there and maybe choose to upvote a question that's already been added. But Becky will be moving through these questions. Becky, if it's all right with you, maybe left to right,
Okay.
and we'll move the questions into our answered column as they are answered. So really looking forward to hearing from our audience and looking forward to your responses.
Awesome. So the first question I see is how to write a compelling about section. And there's 2 people that have said that's important to them. I did have a slide on that. And here's the thing is it's your story and you want it to be written in first person. I do this. And it doesn't need to be long, because remember, the people that are coming to your profile don't know anything about you. So you don't want to give them a book. You really want to keep it short and brief. Who you are, what you do, what makes you, and potentially the company or institution that you work for different. What makes you human, something, a hobby, a human element. And then fourth is just that call to action. Connect with me here, not send me an email or text me. Connect with me right here, because they've already come to your profile. All they have to do is go to the top and hit the connect button and send you a short message. And here's where I'll say, when you send a connection request to somebody, do it. If you do it on your desktop, it will prompt you to add a note. And it's always a good idea to add a note when you're asking to connect with someone. You could say, hey, Becky, I really enjoyed your session today. I'd like to connect with you because I have a few more questions about blank. I welcome all of those. So any of you on this webinar, please reach out, feel free to connect with me and drop that in. Let me know how we met. It's usually going to get a reciprocal response of, yes, absolutely, I'll connect with you. If you haven't met someone and you're trying to connect with them, you could say something along the lines of, I enjoyed reading your post about data science work in this industry. I'd like to connect with you and learn from you. People who are in learning mode, I do that all the time. I want to learn about this. They will be receptive to that in most cases. Okay, what's bubbled up to the top there is how active should I be on LinkedIn as far as posting content? That question is about what do I need to be doing? And I would say the best answer is what are you doing now? And just try to do a little bit more. So if you have a profile and it's robust and you're good to go and you haven't posted anything, go ahead and write your first post. And perhaps it's about a new role or a new project you're working on, or I've just joined this community and I want to share. These are the things that I'm passionate about. These are my interest areas, whatever you want to say. Maybe there's a paper that you wrote, or maybe there's an event that you're going to and you want to highlight that you're excited about that event. If you're not posting at all, just start doing it a little bit more. And more might look like once a month. But if you really want to get active, once a week is not an unreasonable goal. It does take time to write a post, and you want to make sure that your post includes something relevant for your audience and something that is, going to give some insights. When we are coaching salespeople here at SAS on writing posts, we often talk about making sure that you understand who your audience is on LinkedIn that you are speaking to. It's important there's 1 billion people on LinkedIn. You can't possibly talk to all of them. Identify who your audience is, and it's likely to be 150-ish kind of, total people. Identify who your audience is and write to them. Write things that they would care about or want to know about. If you have expertise in a particular area and you want to share with them things that you've learned or things that that would be useful to them, now you're giving away information that's helpful to your network. So it's really about just moving the needle a little bit. If you're not posting at all today, you don't want to start trying to do 3 a week. That's a little bit overwhelming. You want to set a cadence that is sustainable for you in the role that you're in and the goals that you have for your activity on LinkedIn. So can I stay with general questions, Amanda, or should I jump over to standing out?
Whatever you're most comfortable with. You're driving.
All right. Okay, so here's one. A lot of content doesn't come across as authentic. It feels like a sales pitch. How do you stay authentic while sharing content? That's a question about how do I come across in my authentic way, which we talked about earlier by writing your story. What is it that you genuinely care about? What are your unique strengths and skills and experiences? And we even suggest if you're going to start writing posts and sharing content, identify 3 to 4 sort of themes that you're going to write about and that you're going to share about. For example, my themes are LinkedIn strategy, social selling, mentoring, and growth mindset. And then personally, I talk about Sea Turtle Patrol work and the beach often. So think about as you're thinking about your authentic story, what are your themes that you're going to kind of stay in? Because if you start getting into 6, 7, 8 different things you talk about, it can be confusing for the audience that you're trying to appeal to. So yes, there are sales pitches on LinkedIn. Yes, there's content where people are trying to sell things, but we don't want to do that. We want to be the ones who are sharing and giving to our network and providing information that's valuable and relevant. And that's how you stand out from all the others that are just trying to sell. Hope that helps. Creating good habits related to engaging others and promoting yourself. So that's a question about how to create habits, how to also promote myself. And it is self promotion. I mean, we are sharing who we are, and we are doing that with the intent of making connections with people that care about the same things we care about, and also giving to the network, our audience, or people that we're trying to help and support. So it's really about just making sure you're doing those things. So another question about standing out. Everyone is posting everything on LinkedIn these days. How do we make ourselves stand out? By being authentic. And what does that mean? It just means being yourself. Be you. Show up as you. Show up online the same way that you would show up in a professional setting offline. So your professional headshot, for example, if you show up in a suit, kind of like I'm wearing today, when you talk to customers, that's what you want to be your headshot. You want to wear that in your headshot. You want to show up and be consistent with your online and your offline interactions. Because LinkedIn really is this platform that can help you integrate your offline with your online, because we only have one network. So how do we integrate those together? How do I make sure relevant recruiters and hiring managers see my profile? Um, First, have a solid, robust profile. Get those 4 pillars: your images, your headline, your about section, and your experience section. Get your skills in there as well. Get a couple of recommendations. Have a full, complete profile that is truly representative of who you are, and that will be attractive to recruiters because they are looking for people who have a profile. They've invested the time in creating it so that it clearly articulates who they are and what it is that they're trying to do next if you're actively looking. How do I showcase my data science skills? So that's in the skills section. It can also be something you put in your headline at the top of your profile. Um, I'm a data scientist. I'm helping blank accomplish these goals. I work and do these kinds of things. I don't know all the facets of data science work, but I know that if you're a data scientist, you have a lot of skills, technical ones, and things that you want to make sure are in that skills section. Then you can actually reach out to people in your network that you work with, perhaps regularly, and you can do what's called endorsing them for their skills. They will be prompted that you've endorsed them. An endorsement is, I know this person and they're outstanding at Python or whatever it is. And then that person will get a notification in LinkedIn. And most times it prompts them to go to your profile and endorse you for the skills they've seen you display through your work. Can you explain some scenarios on how to best comment on other people's posts? Great question. This is a question about how do I actually write a comment on a post and in a way that is compelling? And the answer is, think about it as you're having a conversation with them and they say something and you say, "Oh, that was really interesting what you just said." You could say just that. "That was really interesting, David, what you just said in this post when you talked about professional development and how valuable mentoring is to someone's career." And that is something I have personally experienced. You could say that, just think about you're having a conversation with that person. It just happens to be in a comment box on LinkedIn. And another thing that you can do is this little trick is you can take a snippet, copy some text from the post that really jumped out at you and put it down into the comment in like italics and say, this right here, this spoke to me. I am trying to understand more how to use AI in the work that I do. And what you just said here is so helpful to me. So those are a couple of strategies to consider. It doesn't have to be a long book, but once you begin doing that and making comments, you will become more comfortable and it won't be as scary as the first one or two that you do. I know because I've only been actively doing this commenting daily for about just under 2 years. And when I first started, it was intimidating. Like everybody's going to see what I wrote. But people aren't really reading it as much as you think. So don't worry about it and just share what genuinely sparked your interest about what that person wrote. Here's a good one. How do I write an eye-catching tagline? And I think they mean for a post. So I'm going to address it as that. If it's a post that you're writing, you want to think about what is a hook? What is one line that I can say that will get the attention of the reader so that they will click the little more ... and read the rest of my post. Things like, when I was 17, I was really afraid of roller coasters. That's an example. The most amazing thing happened last week. Whatever it is, something that's going to grab the attention of the reader. Okay, here's one. How important is adding timelines to your degrees? Does it affect your profile, especially if you've taken more time to get a degree? So put the degrees on there. Every one that you have, you have invested a lot of time in getting those. So absolutely. The timelines are less important, so I wouldn't worry so much about that. You're still hearing me, right, Amanda?
Yes. Sorry
Good.
about that.
Yeah. A little screen blip. Zoom was trying to talk to me, I think. Hopefully that answered that question. Let's see. We've got, I assume the ones at the top are the ones with the most thumbs up, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So how do I connect with the right people? That's another question around how do I do outreach on LinkedIn? How do I search? So the search capacity within LinkedIn can really help you find all kinds of people. You can literally type in hashtag data science in one together as one word, and then it will bring up options for you to look at hashtag data science in people or in posts that people have written or companies or jobs where that hashtag is included. So use the search capability within LinkedIn to find people that you're looking to connect with. Also, another great way, when you're reading your news feed, if I write a post, I'm going to have a few people comment on it. If what I write is interesting to you, go look at the people who've commented on the post. Read what they say. Sometimes they'll say things that are also intriguing, and you can then say, oh, I might want to follow this person. So you go to their profile, read what they do, what they're about, maybe read one of their posts and see if that's somebody you want to follow or even connect with, reach out to add them into your network. So by reading the news feed and reading people who are commenting on others' posts is another good way to find people that you might want to connect with because you want to learn from them or you want to add them into your network. Okay. How are we doing on time, Amanda?
Hey, we are looking good on time. We might want to take about two more questions. This is
Okay,
going really well so far. And folks,
awesome.
just so you know, we will be able to share these questions and the recording in our wrap-up materials. So you guys will have this information available. And I'm just going to pipe in here really quickly and let you know that Becky is completely sincere when she says that, she is happy to connect with you on LinkedIn and answer some of these questions that might come to you after the webinar as well. So I just want to add that.
Yeah,
So
perfect. Thanks, Amanda. Absolutely willing to connect. I see a question. When job hunting, is it worth signing up for LinkedIn Premium? Get this question a lot. My personal opinion is what I'll share here because I have two sons that are, one is job hunting. They're both in their 20s, graduating college soon. And I encourage them to sign up. You can get a free trial for a month. You can pay for 1 month. It depends on how long your job hunting process goes. It can be valuable because it can increase your visibility to recruiters, but it is expensive. So try to get free trials and use them when you can. And then do your own testing. When you get a free trial, try it out and see if you feel like you're getting more engagement than when you didn't have it. So it's not something that I really think you have to have, but if you want to just go that extra mile and do it. When I was job hunting, I actually signed up for it and used it for about a month. Okay, I'll do one more question. I'm not sure what that person means about. How effective is applying for jobs on LinkedIn directly without any networking? So people do find jobs on LinkedIn. You can go and you can look and search for jobs and apply for them right there. Networking is truly about building relationships and helping you in that job search. I would absolutely do both. I I'm a huge advocate of networking and an advocate for staying ready so you don't have to get ready. And staying ready to me is growing and cultivating your network with intention regularly and consistently, making sure that you're making time, even once a week, to have a networking conversation with a person, someone in your community, in your school, in the organization you're working with. And I encourage you to do that. So I am going to put up my last slide, Amanda, and talk about next steps.
super.
And it's, are you seeing anything? Because I'm not.
Not yet.
Okay. Is Zoom that slow, perhaps? Yeah, let's try it again.
There
Yeah,
we go. Yeah, looking good.
looking good.
So far,
Did it
hold
go?
on. And it
It
almost
went away.
there it goes. There it goes.
We'll just stay right here. This is fine. So, next steps, define your brand, update your images, choose a headline, write your about story, add your work experience, your skills, and your volunteering so that you have a robust profile to attract the recruiters or the other people that you want to connect with and learn from or influence. And then engage on LinkedIn with intent. Let me go to my last slide because I want to put my QR code up here. Thank you for your time. Please connect with me if you want to learn more, talk more, explore options. I'm happy to take any one-on-one conversations. Send me a connection request and just let me know how we met. And I'm so thankful, Amanda, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Becky. And we are so thankful that you were willing to share all this experience with us and all of this wisdom. I am certain that folks got a lot out of your content today. So thank you so much. And in our final moments together, I am just going to walk through a few upcoming events for NCDS. And hopefully these will be events that you can attend. Several of them are free. Several of them do require a small paid registration fee. On this event next week, Analyzing Data Science Careers, our career panel is free as always. Really looking forward to a great panel with Tiffany Callahan, Miriam Farouk, and Sean Mobley, another SAS guest. And let's see, coming up after that is our Intro to AI and Deep Learning. That is our next event in our Foundations of AI series. Foundations of AI series do have a small registration fee because we do pay Amy for the 4-hour session that she teaches for us as an external instructor. So that is going to be on February 20th. And then on March 20th, we are going to be learning about generative AI for coders. So do be sure to check out more information and details about these courses with Amy Hemmeter on February 20th and March 20th. Finally, thanks so much, folks, for being here today. We've really enjoyed sharing this information with